All right, if you're like me, you're out in your shop and you always have this thing in the back of your head that's like, what if this happens?
Holy crap!
That's why today we're building this, a zero clearance jig for your miter saw. Safety, precision, convenience, and repetitive cuts. Let's go. So the first thing I want to do is get my blade height set. Now, I am using my panel cutting jig, which is available for view if you want to down in the shop builds section playlist of my channel, but we want to make sure that we raise our blade height enough here to get through not only our jig, but the material we're cutting as well. And then I'm going to measure everything to final length, which is 24 inches. I want 12 inches on either side of my blade on my miter saw. And once we get our measurement here of 24 inches, the way this panel cutting jig works is awesome. We're just going to line up our pencil mark with the edge of the jig because we know exactly where the edge of our saw blade is going to cut when we made this jig. We're just going to line this thing up, run this entire piece through our blade, and we know we are spot on 24 inches for our width. All right, next we're going to get our fence put back on our saw, and we're going to move things over to 8 inches because that's what I chose for the width of my particular jig. So we're going to run our material through at 8 inches. First things first, though, let's get this blade lowered to the proper depth. You don't ever want your blade sticking out higher than it actually needs to be. So we're going to run this through, get our base cut, and then we're going to move our fence over to whatever's left off of my scrap piece. Look, you can make yours as tall as you want on the back side. I had a scrap laying around, so as you can see right here, I'm going to take my fence, kind of get an eyeball of where it needs to be, and then I'm going to lock it in place and just rip a nice, smooth, straight edge off of the remaining piece, and that's going to be how tall my back on my jig is. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is, this is my piece that's going to become the back piece of my jig. And I'm just going to come over and mark 11 inches. And the reason I'm doing 11 inches is because 12 inches is my center, and I want my T-track to run as far over as possible without interfering with my blade when I do a cut. We're going to head over to the router table, and we're going to adjust our bit depth based on our T-track. Now, T-track is 1/2 of an inch thick, so I'm just kind of using my finger to feel. I want my router bit to be about a 32nd of an inch deeper than the T-track because I want my T-track recessed. And I'm going to take that mark, move it across my entire piece of my board, and then I'm going to line that up with the edge of my router bit, and then on the other end I'm going to put a pencil mark on my fence. That's going to tell me where my stop is when I route this dado. And as far as the dado is concerned, I am not measuring this. There's really no need. I just want it at the lower half of my back portion of my jig. The lower it is, I feel like the more stable it's going to be. When I bump material up against it, it's going to have more stability and less deflection. So we're going to turn on our router. We're going to push our material through until we get to our line. And I like to always turn off my router. I've seen people raise their material up off of a turning bit. I prefer to turn off my router, then I can remove my material, and then we're going to get on to the next step here. Okay, so now that we have our groove cut, we're just going to put our T-track in this groove temporarily so we can mark the length that we need to get this thing cut. And for those of you who do not know, you can cut aluminum T-track with your miter saw and your table saw. Just make sure you take your time. Don't rush your material through the blade. Take your time. Go slow, and you're going to get a nice clean cut without any wear and tear on your blade. And then once this thing is cut to length, off camera, I'm just going to screw it into this particular dado with 3 of the included screws that came with my T-track. Okay, and next we're going to take our palm router, and I have a chamfer bit installed here, and we're just going to run a really small chamfer along the bottom edge of our back piece. Now, the purpose of having the chamfer there is going to be to give a place for the sawdust to go as we cut our pieces. Now, if we didn't have this little chamfer cut out in the bottom, we would have an accumulation of sawdust there, and that could affect our accuracy of our miter. We want a true 90 degree, and the only way to get that is to make sure our material is flush up against the back of this jig. And we're just going to take a little bit of glue. I am going to run a bead of glue here. I'm going to install this thing with a couple of brad nails and then let this thing set up, and then we can get on to the next step. Okay, so the glue has set up, and my jig is 24 inches wide, so I'm going to take my tape and make a mark at 12 inches. That is going to be where I'm going to center my blade using my shadow line right here, and I'm going to make my preliminary cut in this jig before we get everything mounted, and I just want to make sure that it's nice and centered before we get this next step done. Next step is going to be to clamp this thing in place, and then we're going to follow up with recessing and installing our bolts that are going to hold this thing in place each and every time we use it. Now, I am using 1/4 inch 20 bolts because that's what my PowerTech knobs require. And we want to make sure that we use a Forstner bit that is slightly larger than the head of the hex bolt and the washer, so that this thing can recess and be flush with the back side of the top portion of our jig we are making. Once we get those holes done, we are going to follow up with a 1/4 inch bit that is going to go the remainder of the way through our plywood and through the back of the miter fence that's on our miter saw. And just make sure when you're lining up where your holes are going to go, just avoid the vertical braces on the back side of your miter saw's back fence. Those are there for stability for that fence. You don't want to drill through that. Just find a nice flat surface on the back side. Once again, eyeballed this. I didn't measure. Just make sure it's nice and flat, and you will be good to go. And now that we have our recesses drilled with our Forstner bit, we can switch over to a bit that is the diameter of our actual bolt, which is 1/4 inch. We are going to get these holes drilled the remainder of the way through the plywood as well as through the back portion of the fence on our miter saw. All of our holes are drilled and recessed. We can insert our bolts, and on the back side of this, we're going to install these knobs that are from PowerTech. This is going to hold our jig in place. We're going to tighten both of these down. Then we can remove our clamps, and then we can move on to our next step. Okay, the final thing I need to make here is going to be an actual block that I'm going to use as a stop on this T-track. I'm just going to roughly cut the width of about 2 inches, but right here I'm measuring to see how tall my back fence is because I want my stop block to be the exact height of the back of my fence. It's going to come in handy when we need to line this thing up, not only vertically, but on our marks as well. And before you say anything, yes, I'm drilling through this block into what looks like the cavity of my miter saw, because it is the cavity of that portion of my miter saw. I'm being careful. I ain't gonna hit anything, I promise. The final thing I want to do is I want to take my rule out of my square, just because I know it's fairly accurate. I want to line it up here, and I want to make some marks every inch up to 10 inches. Again, this jig is made specifically for a lot of small cutoffs. I don't see myself really ever using this jig for anything 8 to 10 inches long, but I'm going to go ahead and make a mark at 1 inch all the way up to 10 inches. Then I'm going to use my square to drag that line all the way across. That's going to give me some marks when I put some material in here to put my stop block at, and give me a really accurate cut at any of those lengths.
All right, that is it. Super simple jig. So this is going to come in extremely handy. We used some scrap plywood, some scrap T-track. We used a couple 1/4 inch 20 bolts with these PowerTech knobs to get everything in place and held down. Purpose of a zero clearance jig like this is twofold. One, it's going to give you a place to know exactly where the side of your saw blade is going to cut. The edge of that kerf is where we're going to be able to measure from and get an exact measurement from there, versus trying to measure from your saw blade, or if you're like me, you tend to measure material a lot and then you simply just put a pencil mark on there and hope that your shadow line or your laser line is exact. So put your tape measure in here, pull it over, and I've made marks at every inch. Basically, that's just going to allow me to move my stop block over to 4 inch, tighten it down. Every piece of material I slide in here and cut is going to be exactly 4 inches, and we do make a lot of repetitive cuts here for some of our smaller projects. Safety is also a thing because of this zero clearance. Your small cutoffs, especially the really small cutoffs, are not going to fall down in this groove, which is pretty much standard on every factory miter saw. So safety, convenience, precision, scrap plywood, scrap T-track, couple bolts, and you are golden. So as always, everything we use to build projects like this will be linked down below. T-track, knob set, bolts. The only thing that won't be linked down below is plywood. You're on your own for your lumber in your area. But other than that, I appreciate you spending a little bit of your time with me here at Newcraft Workshop. If you have not already joined our Facebook group, please do. If you build this jig, show me your project, show me your build, and show me your take on this, because as always here at Newcraft Workshop, I want you guys to make it your own. That's all I got. Until next time, I appreciate you spending some time with me today, and we'll catch you on YouTube.